Today we got Wang, is the owner and founder of RW Digital, a Vancouver-based agency specializing in web analytics and technical digital marketing strategy. And he's been in the business, well, he's been in the industry for 15 years and in his own business, running this business for 7 years, right?
Correct, yeah. Started in 2019, April 2019.
Nice.
Yeah.
And he's actually from Vancouver, but has a lot of Calgary connections, and yeah, we can get this going. So, yeah, tell us what you were doing before the business and why you got into it.
Yeah, I can start just when I started the university. So
Yeah.
I studied marketing and finance at SFU.
Yeah.
And then while I was in school, I did some internships and I worked as a research assistant for a professor. And then I graduated 2011.
Yeah.
And then at that time, the world, like the marketing space, it just changed almost overnight from traditional marketing to digital marketing.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, so, companies were doing stuff online, website, and analytics and things like that. But at that time, I really didn't have enough knowledge. I was very fortunate to land a marketing assistant role for an agency locally in Metro Vancouver.
Okay.
But I was just doing more administrative work. Like back in the day, like even the digital space, there was so much like administrative tasks, like work behind the scene,
Yeah.
like reporting and things like that.
Yeah.
So even though I got my hand, I got my foot in the door in the marketing space, I was just doing more like laborious, like admin work.
Yeah.
And then I was in an agency for a year and a half, and then later on I joined another agency also in Metro Vancouver. And that company, like half the company was actually in IT. The startup is an IT firm, and then half the other and then they expanded into the digital space. And then they were doing a lot more, we call it more technical work, like web and like digital analytics and things like that. And then that's what I realized there was a very strong, large gap between what I knew and what was demanded in the industry. There was a pretty large like knowledge gap. So while I was working in that digital agency, I went back to school part-time, a college called BCIT, which is kind of like the state of Calgary.
Yeah.
So during the day I would be working, and the evening I was coding and in classes, and I was learning on weekend, like self-teaching on weekends and stuff like that. So basically all throughout the day, I was very immersed in digital marketing, more technical work. So I think when I was like mid to late 20s, like that was kind of how I grew my career, like really do a lot of hands-on work. And then so I was in the agency for like around three and a half years, and then afterwards, I decided to join in-house. So I joined an automotive group as a digital marketing manager.
Okay.
So in the industry, I was in the company, I was managing a lot of the digital campaigns and analytics and assets for 5 dealerships. So 1 Toyota, 2 Hondas, and a Chrysler and a Mazda. So in that
Crazy.
industry, like for us, we see cars, but behind the scene, there's a lot of like web analytics, like to measure performance, track engagement, and things like that. Like the dealers, they just view cars as inventory, so there's a lot of analytics behind the scene. So while I was there, I kind of just noticed there was a demand for like good technical knowledge and skills,
Like data to
like there. So sorry, and then a lot of these dealer sites, like there's a lot of management, like a simple dealership site could have a few hundred pages, like of new cars, used cars, service, blah, blah, blah. Like there could be hundreds of pages. So there's a lot of like maintenance involved for organization like that. Like they're just from the web perspective, there's just a lot of stuff going on. So they do need somebody in-house to manage these things. Even if I even if I didn't have to do a lot of the work myself, like we had a web provider and a vendor, like they like in-house, like they still needed somebody to submit the ticket and manage this task to be the project manager for these tasks. So that was kind of so
your role and what you did.
what part of it. So anyway, I just realized there was a demand for more technical services and knowledge, and B, more of a holistic marketing approach. So for businesses like a dealer or even like a hotel and things like that, they need digital advertising, and then they need analytics, tracking analytics, and then they need custom reporting. So a lot of companies, like the marketing director, they're not gonna go into Google Analytics to pull up the data. They need a custom dashboard. A lot of businesses, they need digital advertising,
Yeah.
and they need tracking analytics, and then they need custom reporting.
So
And then,
digital yeah, sorry. Yeah. Go on. Sorry. Yeah.
they need digital advertising,
Yeah.
so campaigns, and they need custom tracking and analytics, and then they need custom reporting because a lot of these businesses, marketing directors, managers, like they're not gonna go into analytics to pull the data. They just need a simple dashboard. So a lot of businesses they also need hands-on support with those kind of things. And lastly, there's a lot of ongoing consultation and support that a lot of these mid to large size companies need because there's just a lot of stuff going on. So for us, like we act as a digital partner for a lot of these businesses.
Yeah.
So any questions that they have within the digital space, that we're able to support them.
Okay. Was there anything else? Okay. I just wanted to clarify for the listeners what you mean by digital advertising.
Yeah, so for us, like we focus more primarily on Google Ads.
Okay.
So Google has ad platforms, and then there's different type of campaign types. So for us, like we call it search. We do search ads mostly. So when you
Like SEO search Google.
so SEO is part of it, but we also do like search campaigns. So basically, when you Google something, like you see ads on the top.
Yeah.
So like we help businesses run campaigns we help them serve those ads. But the thing is that when we do campaigns like these, there's a lot of ongoing support as well with analytics and tracking and things like that. That's why it's more of a holistic service. It's very rare that company will only ask an agency to do campaigns because they will also have questions about analytics and tracking, integration, things like that. So that's why for us, like we sell it as a more of a holistic service.
So just to break it down, to fully understand it, you do digital ads for companies,
Yeah.
and then you analyze the ads
Like
on how they do
performance,
performance.
like engagement on the website.
Yeah.
And the companies, like even for example, maybe we only do the search component, but maybe they're running campaigns through TikTok or they're running campaigns from Facebook, like Meta, Instagram, things like that. So all these different campaigns, the landing page typically will be on the website. So a lot of companies, they still need an agency or a consultant to understand how different campaigns play a role in actually driving like a sale or a lead. So a lot of businesses, like typically we use Google Analytics.
Yeah.
That's a platform to collect the data, but businesses need somebody to help them to attribute the different data and analyzing different data and how different channels play a role in impact, like in driving sales or leads.
Do you think with different businesses, they use different types of marketing, and that's something that you guys look at? Like, for example, our company, right?
Yeah.
We're a real estate company, and we have different avenues, but would you say social media or Google is better? And like, I guess, do you just measure that like ads, like how much it is per ad to run, or would you recommend just doing Google? Like, there's lots of different avenues.
Yeah.
Like, how does someone know which way to go?
Typically, if businesses really want to drive sales and they have a budget, like Google search is the place to go because people entering a service, they're looking, like legit say they're looking for Calgary property manager.
Yeah.
They're in the market for this.
Yeah.
So you're bidding for that keyword.
Yeah.
So this type of campaigns is the most expensive, but they have the best conversion rate. So if you run social media, like it's a bit broader. It's good for brand awareness, but not everybody that see the video is in the market for your service. But if you show us an ad for somebody who's looking for Calgary property manager, like they're in the market.
Yeah.
But the cost to click is up for this kind of stuff is a lot higher.
Yeah.
But even now, like all these years, like search is still the top like converter, typically speaking, because they are the one who's searching and looking for the product or service.
What are your thoughts about YouTube and a lot of people doing YouTube and TikTok, social media versus that route with paying, right? Because I feel like a lot of people are trying to get onto YouTube.
Yeah.
I've thought about it. I'm sure a lot of small businesses think about it.
Yeah.
But that in comparison to Google search.
Yeah.
Do you use both, or do you think it's use the Google or try to do all of it, right? Because
Yeah.
I find marketing is just so wide open.
Yeah.
It's hard to do everything, but I think everyone asks you to do everything,
Yeah.
right?
I think, well, like YouTube is still part of the Google platform.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it would yeah. So for this one, it would be depending on your product or service.
Yeah.
So I think there's certain industries like YouTube probably just doesn't work. Like I think like self storage, for example.
Yeah.
Like I don't think it work. Like people probably would like if you actually do
That's true.
if you do a survey and asking people like to name like 5 self storage brands.
Yeah.
Like it's like I don't think people can do it. Even like big law firms, a lot of them people cannot remember. Big, like just a regular consumer,
Yeah.
they probably cannot remember.
So each business is very different to the type of marketing they need, right?
Yeah, I think for I think for food and beverage, like if I were to run like a brunch place,
Yeah.
I would invest a lot more in like TikTok and influencer marketing than search. But I would still do search. I would still bid on something like brunch near me or Calgary brunch. Like somebody's in the market for this, so I would still allocate some budget for it. But something like a consumer product like a brunch, like I think like TikTok and other like YouTube that could help.
Yeah.
But even for YouTube, I would still say that people like we haven't done a lot of YouTube campaigns.
Yeah.
But I think to really drive subscribers, to drive a lot of engagement in the comments, like you still need to probably pay to play a little bit. Like it's hard to publish a video and then somehow you just get a lot of views. Like I think people still spend money a bit to promote the YouTube channel or find other ways to promote the YouTube channel and then to get more following.
Yeah, it's almost like you have to do that and be consistent with it. It's like a different type of marketing, right? Versus like that's like self-branded marketing where you could also with what you do is like paid marketing, right?
Yeah.
And you could actually analyze the analytics of price per click and all that stuff, right?
Yeah. So, but most digital channels you can measure. Like I mean, basically every single digital channel you can measure. But I think for us, like search is just the best consumer conversion driver. But YouTube and things like that, they're also really great, like for brand awareness and things like that. But it really depends on what businesses need.
Yeah.
But typically, most businesses they want to drive conversions. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your business and how it's been evolving, I guess, in the last 7 years, right? It's probably a lot of up and down, and you are running a marketing firm essentially, right? And I don't know, you're in Calgary here. How did you expand into Calgary, and how did you, what made you decide to branch off on yourself and get like expand to where you're at right now?
Yeah. So in 2019, I decided to go on my own. I just thought, like, there's a lot more I can do, like as opposed to just working in house.
Yeah.
Like I was debating to actually to move to Toronto and work in another corporate office or start my own business. And then I was like, man, in the next 2 years, if I were to work, like I want to spend time like on my own business. Like if it 2 years, if I work 2 years and things don't pan out, I just go back and get a digital market. Like it's not hard, I think, like, at least at that time.
Yeah.
So I just decided to go on my own in 2019. And then at that time I had some contact in the industry, but I still did a lot of cold calling, outreach and things like that.
Yeah.
But I was very fortunate to land on a pretty big client like 2 months into the business.
Oh, wow.
So I started April 2019, and then my first, I would say, corporate big client was a auto group in Metro Vancouver. So I started out working with their Audi, Volkswagen dealership, and then things went well. And then I took over their Jaguar Land Rover and then Infiniti marketing for these other 5 dealerships, the other 3 dealerships that they own.
Crazy.
So that was my first client, and then
that's a pretty big client for your first client.
Yeah. But,
damn, man, good for you.
But marketing for the auto industry, there's certain industry knowledge that's needed, and like my experience, like at that time, like last 2-3 years, was very heavy in the auto industry.
So you were like a niche. In
Yeah. Like what kind of customer reports general managers would want. Like I knew what they need. Like if we were to look at trends, I knew what mattered to them.
Yeah.
Like we wouldn't just pull up some random numbers and show it to them. Like it's very catered to managers in that specific industry. So that was my first client. And then
So I just want to, it's usually not as easy traditionally, like when you're running a business to get a big client like that, right? So
Yeah.
that I think you obviously had to provide a lot of value and know what you're doing, and you were in the industry prior for a very long time, right?
Yeah, so I did a cold outreach to the marketing director
Yeah.
of that auto group.
Yeah.
And then she's really nice. Like, yeah. And then she actually initially they said they're not interested but I think they were not happy with the agency that they were working with at that time.
Yeah.
So she was interested to learn more like what I could offer.
Yeah.
So we just went for coffee, and then she just asked me a lot of like just some questions about marketing for that, and then how would budget campaigns, how would manage the staff, and like I just provided what I knew.
Yeah.
And then I guess she liked me, like, and then she just onboarded me, and then I start working with them. And then
So cold calling works.
yeah,
Cold calling works.
our outreach, like,
Right.
it's very small percentage.
Yeah.
But if you outreach to, like, for us, like, we reach out to corporate clients.
Yeah.
Like if we send 1,000, if we get one, like, it's a good rate. Like, it's good success for us.
For sure.
Because we can work for them for like 5 years. Like
Well, if you're in it, right?
Yeah,
and then I would assume that on your resume opened up other avenues for you, right?
Yeah, so that was our first big client, and we got a testimonial from the client maybe like a couple months into the business.
Yeah.
And then we also work with some other small businesses. But anyways, when I started the business, my goal was to work with more mid to large size company or more even like charitable nonprofit organizations but they were very established. Like I think like 3 or 4 months into business, we also did like a small project with Tourism Burnaby, which is also a DMA, so which is also quite recognized in metro, like just in the tourism industry. But we also had some really small clients. Like I built a website for like a Greek restaurant for like $500 and stuff like that. So I like big or small, like I was willing to take on a lot of different.
You have to at the beginning, right?
Yeah. And then so basically, and then we also landed on a pretty sizable self-storage group. Out in Metro Vancouver, Vancouver Island. It's called ULOC Mini Storage.
Yeah.
So we've been working with them since 2020, even until now. So we have a pretty good and strong relationship. And the owner was also introduced by somebody else. And then they also weren't very happy with the agency that we're working with at the time.
Yeah.
So we kind of went from there. And the business, so we have some decent revenue, and then I was putting back part of it into the business. So we were doing a lot of SEO work for ourselves. So
essentially you have to do your own
search
and marketing yourself on top of it. Well, I guess every company has to do that for themselves, right?
Yeah. So we're putting back in the business on search. So in the beginning, it's the hardest. Like, the domain is new, the business is new. There's like from an SEO perspective, like there wasn't a lot of like foundation. So the beginning was the toughest, but I think after doing it for like a couple of years for our own agency site, like we started ranking well for very like niche keywords.
Yeah.
So I think even right now we rank top for like Google Analytics Consultant Canada or even Google Analytics Consultant.
Wow.
So we've gone to some pretty good, like we work with the Richmond School Board. School district. So we set analytics for all like 20 or 30 schools in Richmond, in Metro Vancouver. So, and then some of the we start working with University of Guelph in Ontario. Now, like they also came on just searching for analytic consultant. And then there was just some businesses that were just looking for this kind of stuff, like just niche keywords. But typically businesses that are looking for this kind of like consulting for Google Analytics, they're generally mid to large size companies. Like a local coffee shop wouldn't care. But if you're a hospitality group with 2 or 3 hotels, even one hotel, like you would care about this kind of stuff because you're probably doing advertising for your hotel, not just for the room, but maybe for the catering business, for the room rental and things like that. So typically they would care about this kind of stuff. And so Google Analytics actually rolled out a complete new version. It's called Google Analytics 4. I think back in 2023, I can't remember, 2022, 2023. And then anyway, I spent a lot of time on evening, weekend, day, and then just learning that product. So that actually became an individual service during 2023. Like we actually got a business just within the analytics space, just setting up Google Analytics and doing some custom consulting and some custom dashboards and things like that. And a lot of the analytics projects, like they actually roll into more like ongoing work for these businesses. So that's kind of yeah.
So it's like seems like you're always evolving and learning the new stuff.
Yeah.
How did you end up in Calgary, like getting Calgary business? Because
Yeah, I first time in Calgary 2022, 2023.
Yeah.
Just as a tour, like no business stuff involved. Like I just here,
Yeah.
and I just really enjoy the city. Like it was so clean. Like we checked out different coffee shops and things like that.
Yeah.
And then later on, I was thinking about like different places to expand.
Yeah.
And then I just like, oh, why don't I just check out Calgary? And I know every major city typically they have a marketing association. So Vancouver has.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Guys.
No, keep going. Yeah. I was gonna say, yeah, I didn't even know about it until you told me about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So every major city typically would have one. Like
Yeah.
so Vancouver doesn't have a Vancouver. So Vancouver has a BC chapter of the American Marketing Association.
Yeah.
Calgary has a Calgary Marketing Association. Edmonton has a Edmonton Advertising Club of Edmonton,
Yeah.
and Toronto has like a bunch.
Yeah.
Like there's like a major city. I think Ottawa probably has some as well. So I just Google so before coming to Calgary, I just Googled like Calgary Marketing Association and
Yeah.
and I found CMA, and then so I decided to come here. I think it was February of 2024.
Yeah.
And then checked it out, and I was just wow, like amazed, like everybody was so professional, and then like a lot of headquarters here, a lot of corporate client businesses here.
Yeah.
So I was like, I think a lot of our services could be useful to them. So ever since so we've been just coming out here. So we do have some projects in Calgary.
Yeah.
But a lot of them, I think all of them, like they are referred from people in Vancouver. So there are contacts I have in Vancouver who refer me to the businesses here. But
That's great, man. Because like to expand and to grow, I think what I'm hearing in your story too is like you're also putting the footwork of networking.
Yeah.
And putting yourself out there to grow your business.
Yeah.
Even though you're in the digital space,
Yeah.
right? You're still like networking and
So obviously network, we're very involved
Yeah.
in Metro Vancouver. I serve on a couple boards there. We're also very involved with the Greater Vancouver Board of Trade and just other organizations.
Yeah.
And I think that's very unique to Calgary is that I've been in business for 6-7 years now.
Yeah.
And then we've got leads like I would say all like nationwide except for Quebec.
Yeah.
And then we even got an inquiry from Government Canada a couple of years ago, but we never gotten a cold inquiry from Calgary. And actually being in Calgary, I realized I think it's just a very tight-knit community.
Yeah.
It's very rare that they will reach out to like somebody from a different city
Yeah.
for a lot of services. So that's kind of partially why like I'm here to like kind of build a network and a community within Calgary.
Yeah.
Like it's like it's actually very interesting. I think like we've gone project in Ontario.
Yeah.
It being Ottawa. Toronto, Ottawa, and things like some pretty like sizable companies.
Yeah.
And then I think they're willing to work with someone on the coast, but in Calgary so far, like we haven't got
Nothing, yeah.
It'll
happen, right?
It's just interesting. Like I think
Yeah.
it's just a different culture.
Yeah.
I think the people probably would like to look within the city.
Yeah.
But it's just different. But but typically when I come here, like it's fun because aside from obviously events, like we go for like food and coffee.
Yeah.
And then I check
Every
out-
time you're here, we always catch up.
Yeah. Like so, obviously that's a lot of work, but it's always like fun, and I think I enjoy the sunny sky as well. Like I'm missing.
Yeah, Vancouver's always like dark, right? Yeah.
It was so
Yeah.
foggy
Yeah.
when I came here like
Yeah.
2 days ago. Like foggy, like you can't even see like 2 feet in front of you.
Crazy.
Like during the day, it was
Yeah.
crazy. So
Yes, Calgary's nice. Gets a lot of sun.
I'm a fan of
Yeah.
the sunshine and stuff.
You were even saying you're thinking about moving here.
I thought about it. Like I just haven't experienced what's it like to live here. Like to do grocery when it's like -30 and things like that. But I think I would consider.
Bro, we do Instacart now. Easy, it's convenient, right? But yeah, what are some big lessons you've learned, I guess, in the last few years running a business on the back end side, right? Like there's always a back end side of lessons. Any major lessons you've learned in the last couple of years?
I think for me, like I'm a pretty calm person, but I think I got even calmer over like just running a business because in the beginning, like even though we have some good clients, like there were still a lot of fluctuations just in the economy. Like I don't know if you guys remember, like at that time, like during pandemic, a lot of business, like at least here in BC, like businesses would open, like they would allow people to open, and
Yeah.
then they would like close.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, like you can't open, like everything shuts down,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
3 days later.
Yeah.
So there were just so much fluctuation, and then it's very hard to even predict what will happen next. So I think it gave me it made me a lot quite nervous about like how I can plan things out. Like I couldn't, and then we
Yeah.
couldn't network in person because that wasn't allowed.
Yeah.
So there was very limited like number of things that I could do to grow the business. I was very fortunate to get a lot of referrals at that time. Like
During COVID.
yeah,
Interesting.
the first 2-3 year business.
You would think your business would have, yeah, grown a lot more because everything is on,
like
even more online,
yeah,
right?
yeah. So it grew, but because of referrals. If I didn't have referrals, like I wouldn't have gone. So I'm very that's why, like I'm very thankful for a lot. Like right now, even I is someone like I met early in the business. Like if they
Yeah.
need some help, like I would just help them. Like I wouldn't consult anything. I would just help them.
Yeah.
I mean I wouldn't build anything. I would just consult them. But
Yeah.
yeah, in the very beginning, it's like I would say like almost 100% of the business was referral. But if I didn't have the contact, even if the business was booming,
Yeah.
the industry was booming, like I wouldn't gotten a piece of it.
Yeah.
Because the business was new and I couldn't reach out. Like I couldn't really do anything because like we couldn't network, like all that stuff. Like I had like pretty decent steady revenue, but I didn't have like large enough like testimonials. Like
Yeah.
we could run campaigns, but we wouldn't be able to convince anybody.
So referrals are a key, I think, of key part in business, and I would say 90% of our business is referrals also, right?
Yeah, yeah.
What advice can you give about how you got referrals and what made you different for people to refer you versus someone else? What made you stand out versus another company, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like what do you think what do you think got you the referrals, and obviously you're doing something right
Yeah, yeah.
to get referrals, and that's how we run our business too, but I feel like it's a very hard thing to get continuous referrals
sure.
and maintain that. So
Yeah.
how did you do that?
I think for us, like we're just more special. I think our services are just a lot more specialized.
Yeah.
I would say that's the core. Or else, yeah, like you're saying in Vancouver, for example, like there's a lot of people in the creative space. So
Yeah.
a lot of designers or photographers and videographers. So if we were to enter that industry, then the competition would be enormous. Like there'd be a ton of people to compete with.
Yeah.
But some of the work that we do is a lot more specialized. So to some degree, like at that time, businesses were seeking, like like a lot of people in like offer similar services.
Yeah.
I would say they have more leverage, like than the client, because
Yeah.
the client was actually the one looking for help, like and they needed the help.
Yeah.
So it's not like they had a lot of people to choose from. So it's just specialization.
So you're in a really niche market, and then
To some degree, yeah. Like I'm just saying, there's nobody else. Like it's just a bit more niche, like compared to other people in the industry. Like like creative space. Like there's a lot of people in the creative space in Vancouver. So if we were to enter that industry, then it's real. Like I think getting referrals will be a lot tougher because there's a lot of people to choose from, and you're just kind of competing on price, to some point.
Yeah.
But yeah, so for us, it's more specialized. Like the service that we offer is it's more technical, and I basically made it very customized to a lot of these businesses. Like I know what they need, what they want. So so I think that's kind of how we. But referrals are generally like we cannot really predict them. For us, it's just make sure that we do good work, and then get testimonial. Existing like people can reach out, or existing clients will refer us to their contacts in the industry.
Okay.
Yeah.
If someone was wanting to get in your industry,
Yeah.
Right now, starting from scratch,
Yeah.
what advice would you give them?
Like I would say I have some background in tech.
Okay.
So right now, marketing and tech is basically it's like one thing. Like we call it MarTech, marketing technology. So for me, like taking the web technology courses at BCIT, like it really accelerated my career. Like it changed my career basically. So before that, like I don't know, any marketers out there. Like
Yeah.
we learn like theoretical stuff, and it's very very hard to find a job with a general marketing degree. And I did research assistant. I had internships and things like that. And then when I graduated, I was very fortunate to land a job almost like immediately. But I was just doing marketing assistant. If I didn't have, if I didn't explore a career in like in technology, like I was just being stuck in like account management and project management. Like I don't think I'll be able to grow, like start a business and land us some pretty good clients and projects and continue to retain them, because a lot of the work right now it's very like tech driven. So a lot of times it's clients would ask questions, but the questions would have some tech stuff component to it. So I think anybody want to go into digital space, like generally they need a tech background. And one of the reasons why I went back to school for tech is A, like I experienced it, like the need for it while I was working in the agency in Burnaby before. And B, like a lot of people who were really good in the digital space that I looked up to back in the day, like a lot of them, they were like comp sci grads. They did comp sci, they did engineering, they knew how technology worked, they knew how the web worked, and then they just got into digital space and they were helping businesses. So I kind of just like, for like millennials, we kind of grew with the tech stuff. And I kind of saw it like how it started in the very beginning. And basically it's digital marketing is just web stuff. So without some background, it can be quite challenging to grow a career in that industry. Not impossible, like there's still people who
You need
do
it though.
well, but like it's really really like helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For your business and other businesses too, how important would you say marketing is?
I think for consumer brands, it's essential. But obviously, if you're like a B, like I don't know, you sell cement or concrete, like I don't know, like there's maybe you have like 5 customers, and maybe like it's more like sales is more important.
Yeah.
But if you're like, I was in most industries, you're in the B2C space, like you need marketing because you always need leads. Like you always need new leads. You never want to stop. Just that's why I like big brands, global brands like Nike, they're still doing advertising. Like they just can't stop. They're always competing for attention. They're competing for new customers and things like that. So it's
Man, I feel like it's just a never ending thing.
that's good for me.
Yeah. It's a good space to get into.
Yeah.
But it is like just my experience with marketing is just like, if you don't continue to market, you're almost like left behind and forgotten.
Yeah.
Right?
Like even like for us, like even we have a lot of retain, like if I were to stop marketing and networking, like we would still have clients and we just do work. But obviously that created potential risk down the road that maybe the number of leads will, like once we lose a client or 2 clients, blah blah blah, and now we don't have new leads, like because we haven't marketed ourselves.
So you guys are still continuously marketing.
Like, well, I'm flying out to Calgary.
Yeah.
And then we still invest in search ourselves. We do a lot of marketing on LinkedIn and like sponsorships and things like that. Yeah, but it's not for today. Like we don't necessarily need a client today. It's just to build up that brand exposure for the future.
Yeah.
So, but just like so just like other businesses, is even you're busy, you're full, like you still want to continue marketing, to build up the future pipeline. Like you never want to stop. Like it just creates a risk, like for the future. And we have seen businesses, not existing client, but they stop a bit, and then like from, let's just say from SEO perspective, they were busy and they stopped, and then they went from page 1 to page 5, and then they stopped getting leads, and then they lost on existing clients. They got to start fresh again. That creates a lot of problems for this business. If they were to continue to search SEO for the website, they continue to rank number 1, and then every month they get like a steady flow of leads. Even if they were to lose a couple clients, they would just have new leads to fill them. So it's kind of safeguard their business. But if they were to put a pause, that creates a lot of problem like in the future.
So why is it so? Like I hear a lot too. Like if you are doing SEO or Google search and it takes time to build up.
Yeah.
And then if you stop, it goes away.
So SEO and Google Ads, like they're 2 different things. So Google Ads, you can start and pause anytime because you're just paying per click. So you can start today and then you don't need to. You can start today and pause a week from now.
Yeah.
There's no like you just pay to play. Like there's no really continuum. Like there's a
It's like a one-time click, a service, and then it goes away, and then you pay to be on top.
You pay to serve on ads. It's not always on the top,
Oh, okay.
but you pay to serve. But
Yeah.
so for this one, for Google Ads, you typically businesses will allocate a budget and a monthly budget. So let's just say they stop and then they start again.
Mm-hmm.
What they did before wouldn't have impact uh, their campaigns in the future.
Mm-hmm.
The only difference is like obviously like you want to keep running campaigns so you can collect more data so you can run your campaigns more efficiently going forward.
Mm-hmm.
But there's not like you for this one you can't start and pause. Like there is a bit more of that freedom with Google Ads, but SEO it's a zero sum game. So the fact that let's just say you're correctly on page 1 position 10 and you move all the way to position 1, somebody who was on position 1 will have to drop. So it's a zero sum game. So the moment you stop doing SEO and other people continue to do SEO and they move up, your website will just naturally go down.
Okay.
It's a zero sum game. So any business that invests in SEO, like it's like once for us, like if we start doing like I think 6-8 months we'll see some good results. Typically they will continue because they don't want to go back to page 5, which is very possible. Like there's so much competition. Like a city like Calgary, there's so many new people coming in, new business coming up. Then the moment you stop, maybe you might not see an impact, a month or 2 months, but 3 months, 6 months, you're gonna see an impact. So maybe before you're position 3, 6 months you could be page 2, page 3, even page 4, depending on the competition in the industry. Yeah.
What are your thoughts with AI and like ChatGPT and that new way of searching and marketing? Is that something you're starting to look into?
Like I keep an eye on, but I don't know if it's like is that relevant to local businesses. Like I think right now, if I'm looking for a coffee shop, I would still Google Map it. Would you Google Map it?
No. So what I do, like a prime example for me is like because we're going to New York. I just asked ChatGPT for everything. And then they gave me a list, and then I would Google it.
Okay.
Right.
So you still Google it.
Of course. Right.
Yeah. So
well, like it's weird. It's like, okay, what are the top 5 restaurants? They would give me the list, and then we Google it. Same with like hotels, right? I guess it's still you still need Google, I guess.
Yeah.
But that could change, right?
Yeah. If people are comfortable with using ChatGPT fully, but I don't really like. So there are some stats about. So basically, people who use AI still go back to Google to double check to confirm.
Of course,
everything.
yeah.
And then a lot of local searches, people are still Google mapping. Like right now, so you're going on trips, so you're traveling. What if you're in downtown and then you just need to look for a coffee shop?
Yeah, Google.
You just So
you go coffee shop near me. Yeah.
What are you about? Do you Google map it if you're in downtown?
Yeah, that's true. Google's gonna.
What if right now like your furnace broke? Like and then would you Google map it? Google it?
I would ask friends and family referrals first, and then Google it, right? And then Google them if they have it, right?
Yeah.
But I won't Google them if it's like a referral. But you're true. It's true. Yeah, I guess it's not going away anytime soon.
Yeah, it's still.
One quick thing though, our devices are gonna turn into glasses and wearable things.
Yeah.
So potentially, we're gonna stop Googling things.
Yeah.
It's in our glasses. It's in our bands.
Yeah. So those products actually came out.
It's like Dragon Ball Z stuff.
I think those stuff came out like actually 13, 14 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think it has like so that talk. I think about like 12 years ago. Like there were already some technologies around it, but I don't know. It still didn't pan out. So it really depends on the general public. Like there are people who are into tech. They love like they'll do it. But I don't know if your average person would really spend that much time exploring like new search. Like if you're a busy person, you do your 9 to 5 and you're doing grocery on weekends and this and that. Now you find a new way to search a product or service. Like I don't know if people have that kind of time. And in a day you still would do double check a lot of stuff. But I think in terms of research, like the actual market research, like I think Google's still like a couple billion searches a month just in the US. I think there's some number about there's like 5.8 trillion searches on Google a year worldwide. So it's still a really like large market share. And I think AI search is great for productivity. So we use it for a lot of like administrative tasks. But yeah, like if I were to look for something like a sushi place in Vancouver or something, I would still Google it and then look at reviews. Even look at like the photos to look at the ambiance of the place and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
Has your business evolved a lot with the like technology changing and everything over the last?
yeah. So this couple of years that we got even more hands-on with this tool called Google Tag Manager. So a lot of the analytics tracking is actually done through the tool called Google Tag Manager.
Okay.
So let's just say right now you're a hotel, you want to add a chatbot on your website. So to implement that chat on your website is typically done through the tool Google Tag Manager. So Google Analytics and Tag Manager, they're like together like as one right now. So a lot of projects that we do, even if it's analytics, the actual setup and a lot of the configuration is done through Google Tag Manager. Yeah. So there's just some details like that, like that's very specific.
It seems like everything's just getting so complex with tech that you almost need someone that knows what they're doing to.
Yeah, like a lot of
to
times clients they don't know that they just like we have this. I need this.
Yeah, it's like I want to chat, and it's like if you want to chat, you need this.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming you analyze the chats and the conversations.
We can, but depending on clients, sometimes they have a call center.
Yeah.
So they'll monitor that. But some of them, like if they want some trends, we can do that stuff for them. But like for example, if they want to read the chat, like typically the call center staff, the customer service team would be the one because it's more customer service related. But the technology component, it's more like we will handle. So yeah, so I think that's kind of the world where it's trending. Like it's getting more and more tech driven.
So dude.
Yeah. So like
everything is I can't even imagine the next 10 years. Yeah.
Yeah, so like right now, like I do some mentorship for a university student back in Vancouver in SFU. So I did their BD, the business program there. So I do some mentorship stuff like that. I just meet a lot of Gen Z, as I said, like fresh grads or students.
This guy's a Gen Z. This guy's 18 years old.
And then so a lot, like right now, like a lot of people in marketing, they're looking for marketing jobs and having a difficult time. And then I've got Gen Z, and I kind of did some self-reflection, compare when I graduated and compared to the like people who are graduating right now or in school right now. I think the biggest difference is that like everything's getting more and more tech driven, and then a lot of the administrative tasks in marketing, they're getting like eliminated with a lot of the AI tools. Yeah. So right now, like we're a small shop, and there are companies I know they're small agencies, but they can have some pretty like big clients and big projects because they really sell the knowledge, not time. Like back in the day, like if I were to work 100 hours as a marketing coordinator, like I would say like 30-40 hours my time of the 100 hours was just on like random like administrative tasks. Like for example, like we have a designer. Okay, so there's a client, there's me, and there's a designer. The client has a scope of work, pass it on to me. I pass it on to the designer. He would design it in InDesign or Photoshop, export it in PDF, send it to me. Me and the client would review together, or even through some project management tool. They would leave comments on the PDF file, and I would send it back to the designer, and then back and forth. So like there was so much. So if you work 100 hours, like so much of that time was just on this kind of task. But now with Figma or any online tool, you just jump on a quick Zoom call and it's done. So now like a designer, if they were to work 100 hours or marketing coordinator working 100 hours, like the time that is used for random tasks, like administrative tasks, are reduced. So
it's almost eliminated.
Yeah.
You don't even need a designer now. You can just
I think
have so many like you need maybe a designer, but I feel like the designer now will use the program and then edit it.
Yeah. So now, so the designer may not even need to work 100 hours. Like they don't need to work. Yeah. They don't need to design for 40 hours, maybe just 20 hours. So I think what took 100 hours before, now maybe only take like 50.
Yeah.
Or so the demand for human labor has really gone down in this industry, but the demand for technical knowledge has continued to grow because it's so complex. There's just so many different things going on. So.
Yeah, like the operations running stuff for sure.
I think and then a lot of people it doesn't really matter which industry they're in. Like a lot of people, like they're busy. Like a lawyer, a law firm, for example. Lawyers are busy with like the legal. Like it's a field. It's a very skilled field. Like they don't necessarily have time to learn ton of technical stuff. So yeah. So they always need help with some of the technical things. Yeah. So.
You've been self-employed, running your business for 7 years, which is a huge milestone. Most businesses don't even make 5 years, right?
Yeah, like 2 years is done.
Any advice with running your business, or anything you want to say, or share of just your journey, and anyone listening about running a business and staying for 7 years?
Yeah. I think for me, when I started the agency, I already had the services I want to provide in mind, and the type of businesses that we want to serve. I think the services itself, like obviously we kind of like we changed it up a bit. Like in the beginning, I thought I could do some social media management and branding stuff, but I'm like, that's not really what I want to do.
Yeah.
So we focus more and then as we get more clients, talk to more businesses, we realized there was more demand for more technical services. So our services actually got narrower over time, and I think got a more niche. So I think that's kind of how, to some degree, how we stay in business, like being like offering like more skilled labor, I would say, as opposed to being like a generalist. Because then if you're a generalist in like our industry, like you just kind of competing on price, like that's kind of like everybody offers the same thing. Nobody really knows what's the difference between product A and product B. Then you're just competing on price. So it's not a field that I want to get into. So I think any business want to start on their own, like they should understand what services they want and what kind of industries that they want to serve and what kind of clients that they want to serve. And then give yourself like a couple of years. And honestly, if it doesn't work, it's not for everybody. If it doesn't work out, then like you can just, I think being fully employed is great as well. I think for me,
being self-employed, isn't always as great as it seems. There's a lot of sleepless nights for sure, right?
Yeah. So I think being fully employed is also great. Like I think I was honestly very, very lucky to have met some really, really great people in the first like couple years of my business. Like some of the big clients I met either through referral, like a lot of referral. I was very lucky to succeed with that cold outreach. And then all people were really willing to help me. Like a lot of them were very open to writing me a testimonial. For example, the president of You Log Me in Storage, Robert, he's also the president of the self-storage Association Canada. Like he wrote me a testimonial when I first started. Like for them to find 10 minutes to write something for me, like it's like they're always so busy. Like so I'm very appreciative for a lot of this help and support in their very beginning. But it's very hard to replicate. Like if I were to start a business today, like I may not be able to replicate some of this like good luck. So I think there is a lot of like, in the beginning there is some luck, quite a bit of luck involved, meeting the right people at the right time. Like for us, like even when we pitch or when we like to get a project, basically they need to be like typically they would have analytic or some marketing setup. They need to be they need to be unhappy with what's happening in there. That's happening within the marketing team or the vendor that they're using, and B, they need to have a budget, and then the marketing manager, director, or the owner or whatever, and I like we need to have chemistry too. So for us to land a project, like multiple elements need to be aligned in order to win the project. So like some of this stuff is hard to always manufacture. Like if you don't vibe with somebody, sometimes like you just don't vibe. So it's hard to replicate that all the time. So but I was very fortunate to meet some people that like all those things, all the stars aligned for myself and them at that time. For us to win those projects.
And they say like, dude, you gotta give yourself some credit. They say the harder you work, the luckier you get, right? And I know that there's a lot of work put in on the back end to get to where you're at, and you've been running your business for 7 years. So yes, you keep saying that you're fortunate and lucky, but and people always say that about me too, right? But then it's like, but you also work really hard, right? If you don't work hard, and continue to work, then you're luck. You have less luck, I would say, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it is lucky, but you also worked hard, right? So,
Yeah.
But yeah, man, thanks for coming. I guess where can they find you?
So you can, if you're on LinkedIn, you can search for like Ray Wang, or you can search for RW Digital. On Instagram, we are just digital.rw, and then you can find us very easy. If you have any questions, you're more than welcome to reach out on LinkedIn, and we're happy to offer a 30-minute consultation to answer any questions that you guys have.
You guys do a handshake, pretend like you're
That's all. Sweet.